the heart of a city silenced by a blanket of fresh snow, a tiny life shivered in the biting cold. Leo, a scruffy kitten with fur the color of twilight, huddled against a brick wall in a forgotten alley. Each snowflake that landed on his small frame melted into a droplet of icy water, seeping through his thin coat and chilling him to the bone. The world, once a place of curious smells and playful shadows, had turned into a vast, unforgiving expanse of white. His mother was gone, and the warmth of his litter mates was a distant, fading memory. Now he was utterly alone, a small, trembling soul against the might of a winter that had just begun to show its teeth. The wind whispered through the narrow alley, carrying the distant sounds of a city preparing for the holidays, a world away from his desperate reality. Driven by a gnawing hunger that twisted in his belly, Leo pushed himself to his feet, his tiny paws sinking into the deep snow. Every step was a struggle, a monumental effort for his weakened body. He navigated the treacherous landscape of the alley, his sharp eyes scanning for any sign of discarded food or a dry nook to escape the relentless snowfall. A sudden roar sent him scrambling for cover as a snowplow thundered past the alley's entrance, its massive blade pushing a wall of snow that nearly buried him. Later, a large dog, its barks echoing like cannon fire, chased him under a dumpster, where he waited, his heart pounding against his ribs until the danger passed. Amidst the trash and debris, his eyes caught a flash of color. It was a small, tattered red scarf, likely dropped by a child. With a burst of newfound energy, he dragged it from the snow, nuzzling into its worn fabric before clumsily wrapping it around his neck. The scarf offered little warmth, but it was a small comfort, a beacon of hope in the overwhelming grayness. As the day bled into a deep, dark evening, the light snowfall intensified into a blinding blizzard. The wind howled with a ferocious new strength, whipping the snow into swirling vortexes that erased all landmarks. Leo, exhausted and disoriented, could barely move. He found a sliver of shelter in a frozen doorway, curling his body into the tightest possible ball, the red scarf a lone spot of color against the encroaching white. His shivering grew weaker, and a heavy drowsiness began to settle over him. He was losing his fight. Just as his eyes began to close, a pair of heavy winter boots crunched to a halt in the snow before him. A figure bundled against the storm knelt down. A gentle, gloved hand reached out, and a soft voice cut through the wind's roar. "Oh, you poor little thing, you must be freezing." The hands that lifted him were warm and careful, wrapping him in the soft folds of a thick coat. The world became a blur of motion and muffled sounds, a stark contrast to the stillness of his near-frozen state. He felt a gentle warmth seeping into his body, a feeling so comforting he could only manage a weak, grateful purr. Soon he was inside, away from the storm's fury. The chill was replaced by the cozy heat of a home, filled with the scent of food and the soft glow of a fireplace. A bowl of warm milk was placed before him, and he drank greedily, the liquid chasing away the last of the cold. Cleaned and fed, Leo was placed on a soft, plush blanket by the hearth. The last thing he saw before sleep claimed him was the crackling fire, its flames dancing like joyful spirits. Curled up with his little red scarf, safe and loved in his new home, Leo drifted into a peaceful, dreamless sleep, the storm outside now just a distant lullaby.